Good afternoon. It is May 8th, 2023. It is 3:16 p.m. Central Time. I'm Meteorologist Jason Cooley with Texas Storm Chasers. We have a tornado warning in the Golden Triangle, much to our dismay. But this storm has gone a little bit crazy. We have a southeastward moving supercell with embedded rotation, unfortunately headed right into Beaumont. So folks in Beaumont, you are under a tornado warning. That is not a joke. I know it is kind of a surprise, but here we are. It is May. It is Texas. It is tornado season, severe weather season, albeit, maybe marginal environment conditional for tornadic events. But this storm has gone and overperformed on us here in the Golden Triangle. So let's go ahead and take a dive in. Again, folks in Beaumont and surrounding areas in this tornado warning polygon do need to take shelter. This tornado warning is good until 3:45 p.m. Again, that is really the only thing in town. We do have a severe thunderstorm near Longview. We'll touch on that, but however, our priority right now is going to be this tornado warning in the Golden Triangle, southeast Texas, approaching Beaumont. So again, folks in Beaumont, populated area, you do need to take shelter, get off the roads, get indoors, get away from windows, get to the innermost portion, lowest level of your floor, house or structure. Okay, again, let's go ahead and take a dive into what's going on here. This storm, as of 3:17, is shown signs that it wants to produce a tornado. Let's go ahead and stop all this. Now, I'll be completely honest with you, this does not look holy guacamole scary time right now as far as immediate tornado goes. This is a broad rotation. We're not seeing super tight of a coupler right now. Of course, we do have rotation. It's just not, like I said, holy guacamole, tornado on the ground kind of thing. As far as we know, there are no reports. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our reports, and as of right now, we don't have any reports. However, still, we need to be taking this storm seriously because there is rotation, although it might not be extremely tight and confined into a tornadic circulation. This storm is wrapped up enough to where a tornado could be produced at any time. Okay, tornado warning means get your butts to shelter right now, even if there is not a definitive tornado on the ground. You still need to be taking cover. This is unfortunately going right into Beaumont, the heart of Beaumont. A lot of people living there right now, a lot of people on the roads through Interstate 10, a heavily traveled corridor, obviously. So, folks, I hope you could get off the road. Anybody traveling into Beaumont from the east or the west, don't. Just wait for this thing to pass through Beaumont. I mean, honestly, this thing's going to make a beeline right into Beaumont in the next few minutes. Let's go back into how hard it's raining mode, and we'll just go ahead and take a look back in time here. And yeah, the storm is making a concerted effort to go right into Beaumont and cause pretty bad issues as far as rain and hail go, frequent lightning, gusty winds, and the potential of a spin-up tornado with this tornado-warned storm moving into Beaumont right now. So let me just do a check. Gonna check into the chat, make sure I don't have anybody crying about audio issues, because let's be honest, technology hates us. It looks like everybody's satisfied, no issues with audio or anything. Again, right now, 3:20 p.m., we have a tornado-warned storm headed right into the heart of Beaumont, Texas. We do want people in Beaumont to be taking shelter immediately. So don't mess around with this storm, even though there is, again, not a definitive tornadic circulation signified on radar. We do want you taking shelter in Beaumont. It could spin up any moment. Not only that, we may very likely have severe damaging wind gusts and damaging hail, as well as some brief flash flooding rains, frequent lightning. So Again, get your behinds indoors, get away from windows, get into the centermost, lowest part of your house or structure. Again, NWS in Lake Charles, Louisiana does believe that this could spin up a tornado, and not blaming them there. It is there. The potential is definitely there. Now, again, I'm surprised, as well as you are, there was no tornado risk down there. According to the Storm Prediction Center, there was also no real tornado risk forecast by us, to be truly honest. And, there were going to be general thunderstorms, maybe some spotty, strong, severe storms, but a tornado-warned storm today was not in the cards, I don't think, in any forecaster's head. Of course, as I said, it is May. This is Texas. We live in a tornado-prone state at a tornado-prone time of year. So, perhaps not a complete surprise, but still, and this is about as shocking as you can expect David to grow hair in the next couple of years. Sorry, David. I don't know if he's cool with making jokes at expense of him, but again, this is still a fairly serious situation. Tornado warning in Beaumont, so folks in Beaumont, Texas, need to be taking shelter immediately. This storm could spin up a tornado again at any time. We are going to go ahead and switch back to which way it's raining mode. No, we're going to switch back to which way the wind's blowing mode. And folks that can read radar data, we do have, out of our Lake Charles radar site, we do have winds going into the storm or away from the radar. We have easterly winds, okay, and then we have westerly winds. So in this close proximity, it does indicate that there is broad rotation in this thunderstorm. Storm looks to have really spit out a rear flank downdraft, which will be coming right into Beaumont. I'm sure folks in Beaumont can see the storm to their immediate northwest, and they're saying, oh, great, look at that guy. It's going to be capable of damaging wind, damaging hail, frequent lightning, and even potentially a tornado spin up at any moment. Again, broad rotation there. If we were going to zoom in on this and see these reds and greens even closer together, then we would be definitely concerned about immediate tornado potential. This is definitely warranting a tornado warning, don't get me wrong, but I am pretty confident as to say we don't currently have a tornado on the ground. Now let's go ahead and look at any debris tracking. And again, we don't see a well-defined debris signature on radar. We see heavy rain, possibly some hail, coming in Rose Hill Acres and eventually Beaumont here shortly. Possibly some hail, definitely heavy rain, gusty winds, frequent lightning, and the potential of a spin-up tornado. Again, that is why folks in Beaumont should get off the roads, get indoors, get away from windows, get to the lowest part, most center part of your structure or house. Let's go ahead and take a look at the vertically integrated liquid. This gives us an idea where the worst hail is, and the worst hail is now approaching the US 96 corridor. This is the US 96, goes out through here, so it is about to come over a pretty high volume freeway there in northern Beaumont, and it is going to only go into the heart of Beaumont here in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So if a spin-up tornado is not in the cards, which it's possible, but if that doesn't land up happening, you're still going to have gusty winds and damaging hail potentially striking right into the heart of Beaumont, Texas again. Not in the forecast today. I know you might be shocked to see this live weather statement with me. Of course, our Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer is probably not even awake yet, to be honest. He does stay up very, very late in the night to produce the morning weather roundup. So he is probably just now going to be waking up, and he's going to be quite upset about this tornado warning in Beaumont, let's be honest. And again, like I said, this tornado warning should be taken seriously, folks in Beaumont. But rest assured, right now, I do not think we have a tornado on the ground. But if a tornado was to spin up, it would be wrapped in rain. So don't go even trying to spot a tornado that probably isn't there right now. But if it was to be there, it would be heavily rain wrapped. Again, the most hazardous threat right now probably is going to be wind-driven hail. Right in Rose Hill Acres again. Let's go ahead and look back at the density data. Again, we have no indication on radar that this thing is tossing debris. Let's go ahead and look at the density data then. And as of right now, the worst of the hail core coming into Rose Hill Acres, pocket change sized hail, very likely in Rose Hill Acres, and then coming right across the US 6996 freeway. So folks traveling through there not having the greatest of times, and unfortunately this is going right into the heart of Beaumont again. So folks traveling on the I-10, very high volume interstate, crossing the whole state of Texas, you're going to have problems. Get off the road if you're headed into Beaumont from east or west. Don't wait for this thing to pass through the Beaumont area. The worst of the storm is headed right toward the heart of Beaumont. Again, there's the latest update on our density. The density of the core, meaning where the greatest hail threat is, right over Rose Hill Acres. Can you not do that right now, please? It's my cat scratching on things. Let's go ahead and look at which way the wind is blowing again, just to make sure that we don't have any super spinny mischief going on. And yeah, right now we're still very broad rotation. Inflow coming in from the east. Extreme amount of lightning. Probably some good hail right in Rose Hill Acres right now, right on the US 96 freeway. And then an RFD signature down here, just starting to come into greater Beaumont. So we see rotation. It is broad enough to not be super concerned about a tornadic circulation at this moment. Again, this could tighten up, could produce a spin-up tornado at any given time. However, if that doesn't happen, we still have severe damaging wind and hail to deal with. Frequent lightning. Look at all these lightning bolts here, right over Bevel Oaks to Rose Hill Acres, Pinewood Estates, even farther northwest into Lumberton. Frequent lightning, a little bit of rotation, still broad, could spin up into a tornado. Would be really devastating if it did in Beaumont, but luckily, as of right now, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. But it's still under a tornado warning, so do yourselves a favor. Get off the roads now in Beaumont. Get to your house, get to your work, get to a friend's house, and just get inside, get away from windows, get into the bathroom in the center part of your house, lowest level of your house. Again, do yourself that favor, because you never know if this thing will tighten up and try to spin up a tornado right in a Beaumont, okay? Now, this is not, again, like a holy guacamole tornado on the ground situation for Beaumont, but the rotation is there that it could try to spin up a tornado in the greater Beaumont here. On top of that, we have a flash flood warning. Again, this flash flood warning is going to be good for the next 3.5 hours for parts of Hardin, Jasper, Jefferson, and Orange counties in Texas. And this was issued just 7 minutes ago. Between 2 and 5 inches of rain have already fallen. Additional rainfall amounts can amount to another 1 to 3. So roads will be inundated with rainwater. Again, I'm looking at you, Beaumont. Any city down in the Sun Belt that gets heavy rain in a short amount of time, in the tropical regions here, we know this very well. Houston, Beaumont, Port Arthur. Y'all flood. Y'all flood fast. There's no surprise there. So let's go ahead and look at how hard it's raining. this would be so kind. Thank you. It's raining very hard. It's even hailing. It's windy. Frequent lightning. People in Rose City and Beaumont are hearing plenty of thunder, seeing lightning to the north, and they're probably starting to get a gust of wind along the leading edge of this thing. So Beaumont, you're probably going to be included in the flash flood warning here in the next at least 30 minutes, if not 15 to 20 minutes. Y'all will be included in this flash flood warning. Y'all are under a tornado warning. Again, this is producing probable flash flooding back near Lumberton and soon to be Rose Acres, if not already. It's producing broad circulation, producing pocket change-sized hail, producing very heavy rain, frequent lightning, gusty winds. Let's go ahead and take a look back at which way the wind's blowing. This is going to be our immediate concern. Just as far as coverage goes, make sure this thing isn't spinning up a tornado, and if it does, we're going to want to catch it. And according to this radar velocity data out of Lake Charles, it has not spun up and tightened up into a tornadic circulation. Well, let's get some dual Doppler information on this. We're going to switch over to the Houston radar. This thing is kind of right between the Houston radar and the Lake Charles radar. And broad circulation, nothing super tight, but we have winds going toward the Houston radar and Rose Hill Acres. Winds moving away from the Houston radar, going just on the north side of Beaumont. So broad circulation continues. Tornado warning in effect until 3:45. So this thing could still try to spin up a tornado. It's not done. We have heavy rain, potentially some hail, wind-driven hail that just crossed the US 96 freeway in Rose Hill Acres. So, if a tornadic circulation doesn't spin up, we still have severe issues with this. We see many times over and over again, especially in May, you don't want to mess with severe storms capable of wind-driven hail. We saw that in Abilene last night, in Merkel last night, house with skylights, hail just came right through their skylight, car windows busted out. It's just a nasty time of year all across the country, really, but especially here in Texas. You guys know that very well. So, damaging wind, damaging hail, potentially a spin-up tornado moving right in the heart of Beaumont. Right now, guys. Heavy rain just now crossing the Interstate 10. Let's go back to how hard it's raining mode. And the leading edge of this rear flank just pushed right into Interstate 10 and the very northwest corner of Beaumont. So this thing's coming for you. Let's take notice. We have frequent lightning and potentially damaging hail. Again, Rose Hill Acres, now just past the US 96 freeway. The heart of this hail core probably headed right toward Rose City, toward Vidor. So, yeah, that's unfortunate to say the least. This thing's going to kind of keep going right toward Port Arthur and Bridge City as well. So I'm going to be staying with you for probably another 20 to 30 minutes. Especially because if this tornado warning expires, it's still going to have severe damaging wind and hail. So, Port Arthur to Bridge City, Vidor, Rose City, y'all are downstream of this thing, so get ready. If a tornado doesn't spin up, you're still going to have damaging wind, damaging hail. So, again, it's 3:35 p.m. Please don't do that right now. Okay? Thank you. Cat scratching stuff. All right. Let me just check. I'm going to take a quick check of the chats here. Make sure everything's good. Scream at me if something's not good. This storm is headed southeast. Let me go ahead and animate this. Okay, get rid of these homemade track marks. Again, we have severe damaging wind and hail potentially moving right into Beaumont and Rose City. Spin-up tornado can't be ruled out. There's a tornado warning still for the next 10 minutes. Folks in Beaumont, need to be indoors away from windows, lowest level part of their house, most interior part of your house or structure. This tornado warning is good for 9 more minutes, capable of producing a spin-up tornado at any moment. Again, luckily this thing does look to be very HP outflowy. So, however, in the case of Fort Hood just 10 days ago, you never know. It could be super HP outflowy looking, but there'd be a tornado, relatively strong tornado, wrapped up way into the way into the rain. So don't even try to go outside and look for these things. If it does produce a tornado, it'll be wrapped up in rain. So heavy rain, potentially some damaging hail, damaging wind coming into Beaumont, crossing the I-10 right now. Again, I've said this, thank you, Violet. Folks in Beaumont need to be off the roads, indoors, away from windows. Don't even go looking for this thing. RVs, mobile homes, thank you, Violet. Those are not viable shelters, okay? If you can tow your trailer home down the road or your RV down the road with super convenience, soak in a tornado, or even damaging winds and hail. So again, folks in trailers, RVs, you're not doing the right thing, guys. You need to be in a site-built structure, lowest level, away from windows. Again, we cannot stress that enough. Sometimes I forget that people do need to hear that. Folks in Beaumont, this storm does mean business. It has damaging winds. It has damaging hail. And it has the potential to spin up a tornado. Let's go back to which way the wind's blowing. And we still haven't had that super tight circulation become a well-defined tornadic circulation, at least indicated by radar. We're kind of close to that Lake Charles, Louisiana radar, but not close enough to be super confident about this velocity data. However, I'm pretty sure we have pretty strong winds in Beaumont now. Let's go ahead. Possibly 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gust in Beaumont. And that's just what the radar is seeing. If that is driving hail into the side of your home, that is no bueno. Okay, so again, as of right now, 3:38 p.m., I don't see a very well-defined tornadic circulation. However, broad rotation is still ongoing with this storm, so there could be a spin-up tornado, and it would be wrapped in rain. So get away from windows, get inside, get to the lowest level interior part of your house or structure. Thank you, Violet, for being there in the chat and bringing information into the chat. It's hard to keep monitoring the chats, but I am keeping my eye on it just to make sure nothing's going awry. Again, now it's 3:30 p.m., 3:39 p.m. We should have an expiration on this tornado warning here soon. Folks in Beaumont still need to be indoors, away from windows, lowest level, most interior part of your house or structure. However, again, no holy guacamole tornado circulation indicated on radar. However, damaging wind, damaging hail, still pretty certain. So, folks in Beaumont, you may even have a flash flood warning issued for you guys here in the next 20 minutes. Would not be surprised to see that happen. So, I'll be staying with you a little bit longer. Let's go ahead and take a look around what we have. For folks that are concerned out here in, what is this? Cypress, Waller, Texas, we have a severe storm capable of damaging wind and hail. This storm appears to be moving. Let's put a track on it. Appears to be moving northeast. So, Waller, Texas, y'all are going to get in on some damaging wind and hail. And we'll go even farther west. We have a severe thunderstorm in LaGrange, Fayetteville, Round Top, Texas. This is more of a kind of a spotty variety severe storm. Doesn't really have much organization to it, but some hail in and around LaGrange does look possible here according to radar. So potentially some damaging wind and hail in LaGrange. However, doesn't look of utmost concern. Let's go ahead and take a look up in northeast Texas. Folks in northeast Texas, again, loosely organized activity. This is a severe storm on the north side of Longview. Very low concern, honestly, right now. Let's go ahead and play it through, but just your marginally severe hail, maybe wind gust. Let's go ahead and take a look at which way the wind's blowing. We don't see any significant wind gust on radar right now, so our greatest hazard with this stuff north of Longview probably going to be some hail. Let's go ahead and maybe some wind in Longview. Let's go ahead and probe this wind in Longview. 39 to 45 mile per hour wind gust. So that is getting strong, but still not severe. So if you have any reports out of Longview, let me know. We have perhaps some strong winds gusting out from these thunderstorms here in East Mountain. So maybe some hail east of East Mountain. Over the trees and far away in northeast Texas they go. Perhaps Jefferson, Texas will get in on some rambunctious storm activity, maybe a little bit of hail coming into Jefferson. Again, this stuff is very loosely organized, so I don't expect organized supercells like we have down in southeast Texas. Let's go back to our greatest primary hazard right now for the state of Texas is going to be this Beaumont storm. Damaging wind, damaging hail coming into Beaumont and Rose City right now. Pine Forest and Vidor. Crossing the Interstate 10. And it's going to be a very sad commute. People traveling through the I-10 through Beaumont right now. Just kind of abysmal. Heavy rain, blinding rain, wind, even hail, lots of lightning, and still a low chance of a spin-up tornado. Which way is the wind blowing? We see potential indication. Now this could be a little bit of altered feedback from all the hail going on, but we are watching maybe a very subtle circulation now, still north of Beaumont. It'll pass now. It looks like this thing is really gusted out. You see all this westerly wind motion coming in from the west there, of course. So if anything does spin up, it might miss Beaumont just to the east. Now we'll watch it, but it still hasn't tightened up into a definitive tornado circulation. But heavy wind, heavy rain, high winds, potentially some hail into Beaumont, Rose City right now. Rose Hill Acres definitely had some hail if the radar is correct. Let's go ahead and take a look at my reports here. Go ahead and take a look. David Reimer's going to be somewhat upset about this when he wakes up. But it is what it is. This tornado warning was warranted. Some broad circulation did come in through Bevel Oaks to Rose Hill Acres. At the very least, had damaging wind gusts and hail. So again, this tornado warning will be expiring here in just 1 minute. And it is expired if I am correct. So this tornado warning is now expired for Beaumont. It is 3:45. And as of right now, I don't see any indication that they would extend it. Again, we'll keep an eye on this. Maybe radar indicated circulation continuing along the northern periphery of this big outflow. We got strong westerlies into Beaumont with heavy rain, high winds, and hail. But it looks like we dodged a bullet. This thing did not tighten up and spin up any tornadoes. So that's very good. But we'll continue to keep our eye here on the Pine Forest to Vidor area. So I'll stay with you a little longer. Let's go ahead and go back to which way how hard it's raining mode. And we do have a little bit of hail still indicated on radar coming into Pine Forest and Vidor, Rose City right now. So again, Beaumont may have kind of dodged a bullet there with the bulk of the heavy rain and hail just now to the northeast of downtown Beaumont. That's good. Still, folks along the I-10 going east out of town or coming into Beaumont from the west, not going to have a fun time when this comes over I-10. That's probably going to be some hail, pocket chain sized hail, and some 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts. So I can't rule out a flash flood warning also being extended to the south there. Let's go ahead and look at our density products. So our hail density has definitely come down a bit. Rose Hill Acres definitely got kind of bullseyed there with hail. And then the latest radar scans, we have come down on our hail cores. This says that we still have some hail just to the north of Beaumont. This would be passing just barely to the northeast of downtown, I think. So dime 2/4 sized hail still can't be ruled out here, especially as this storm crosses into Rose City. So perhaps some damaging winds. That's going to be kind of our hail swath that we're looking at coming toward Rose City right now. But all in all, this thing seems to be gusting out. Spin up tornado can't be ruled out, but I'm getting less and less concerned, of course. Our tornado warning has been expired. We are looking from the Lake Charles, Louisiana radar. We still see a bit of a circulation left over here, Pine Forest, but the tornado warning has expired. So, at the very least, you're still going to want to stay inside for the hail and the wind. But we'll see if they reissue a tornado warning. I don't see that happening, at least unless this really tightens up. But just be mindful that this thing is not looking like it wants to produce a tornado, and it hasn't shown any indication that it produced a tornado. So that's the good news there. Again, it is 3:48 p.m. We still have thunderstorm capable of damaging wind and hail coming into Rose City and Vidor now, Pine Forest. In fact, I'll tell you what, there's not even a severe thunderstorm warning, so I say severe, but we may be below severe limits now. So that is good news, folks. This will be coming toward Bridge City in Orange, Texas. So, folks in Bridge City to Orange, just be mindful that you do have some rocky weather coming your way, if not a lot of lightning and heavy rain. At the very least, frequent lightning, heavy rain. They might expand that flash flood warning, but the overall strength of this storm has started to wind down. So good news. Beaumont, we dodged a bullet. And folks in Port Arthur, looking pretty good. Maybe some rain and thunder. Bridge City to Orange, maybe some hail. Definitely some heavy rain. But the overall strength of this storm is winding down, so that's good. So we can shift our attention here in just a moment. What is this report here? We do have a flooding report, wind damage report. It's got the wavy flooding sign, but it's actually a wind report. Again, we have potentially some wind damage. Large branches down in a driveway north of Lumberton, so reports are starting to come in of some damage from that wind and hail core. I don't know if a tornado spun up, but we'll hear greater details soon. Again, by all indications on radar, there was rotation, but it wasn't tight enough to produce a tornado, so could be straight line winds. We'll see. So we are going to shift a little bit to the west. We'll probably conclude this weather statement here shortly. But we still have some severe hailers, one coming into Waller, Texas right now, along the US 290 corridor. And then farther west, we have one on the west side of LaGrange, the US 77 corridor. These are hailers. It could be some spotty winds, damaging hail. Let's go ahead and look at the winds. I don't see anything super duper concerning for winds, but gusty winds can't be ruled out, and some brief damaging hail with these renegade storms on the out west of Houston all the way to LaGrange. So you can always access our radar for free on the Texas Storm Chasers website and the free mobile app. There are 2 versions of the radar on the app for anybody that needs to hear it. There are 2 versions of radar. One may not be for you. You could revert to the other one. That may be for you. It's kind of hard to tell if you're the app number 1, the radar number 1 person, or the radar number 2 person. But for anybody that needs to hear this, our free mobile app does have 2 versions of radar. You can go under the radar tab at the bottom. And this is just for anybody that needs to hear this. We have that free app. Again, you can pretty much avoid the ads. At the very bottom, there's a radar tab. You can pop that open. Again, if that's not for you, go to and more. That's over at the bottom right. Hit and more and hit radar. It's the second from the top. You have the, if you will, the legacy radar, the radar that we used to have, the radar that is on our website. You can still access that on the app. Again, go to and more at the bottom right of the app. Click radar, second from the top, and you'll see the legacy radar that we've always had available and is available on the website. You can access that there. So some of you, again, may be the radar number 1 type, or you're the radar number 2 type. Luckily, both of those are still available for your use, and they are free to use. So I want to encourage anybody that wants to track these storms to download the app. It is free. You may have an ad when you blow up the app for the first time, but you can easily skip that ad after a couple seconds, and you're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this live weather coverage. Again, thanks for tuning in. Our tornado warning has expired for Beaumont, Texas. You can get out of your shelter now. The storm has wound down to even below severe limits. So you may have a little bit of a rough commute on I-10 with that heavy rain, maybe some brief hail, some gusty winds, but rest assured, does not look like we'll have any spinny mischief. So again, I want to thank you all for tuning in for this surprise last second coverage here for the Golden Triangle. But again, download our free app for accessible weather radars. Check out our website. And if you even love to watch YouTube, we have a live weather radar with warnings and music on the Texas Weather Center YouTube channel. So go ahead and check all of those out if that tickles your fancy. So again, you have a blessed rest of your Monday. It is a case of the Mondays here with that surprise tornado warning, but things are looking on the up and up now. So just stay out of those hail cores, guys. It's going to become the spotty hail core variety, relatively unorganized. Again, that tornado warning was quite a surprise, but again, we want to thank you for tuning in for that surprise coverage, and I hope you have a good rest of your Monday. Take care. God bless.